Here is a special event making news around the parish. As we ready ourselves for the 2010 hurricane season, your Emergency Operations Center has already been through an evacuation event here in the parish. On this day, it was only a practice run, but everyone involved was ready and waiting to react to any situation.
The best thing we can do for the residents of St. Charles Parish that require assisted evacuation is to get out here like we are today and practice doing this evacuation just as we would for the real thing. Now, we've already incorporated a lot of lessons learned that we've gotten through Hurricane Gustav, but now we're testing out some new capabilities that we've never used before to make sure that they will be able to work whenever the time comes. And so far, it's been very successful. And as you see here, we have an automated registration process. It really should speed up the flow and the rate at which we register people, and more importantly, collect a lot of information that's very useful for us to better manage the shelters whenever we get up into the northern parishes where we do shelter.
The new registration system was put to the test as over 100 RSVP volunteers were put through the registration process, all in a matter of minutes. The stations moved quickly from acquiring the armband, registering names with barcodes, loading buses, and even a simulated arrival at the temporary shelter outside of the parish. In all accounts, the system moved quickly, but the process didn't happen without committed parish employees.
It's a full-scale effort across all departments of the parish to include Parks, Recreation, Planning and Zoning, the Emergency Department. We have the Department of Social Services out here from the state. We have the Retired and Senior Volunteer Program that came out here with some volunteers to act as evacuees, and many other people aided in this effort, the Sheriff's Department and others, to make sure that we get this done exactly like we would, as close as we would, to the day where we actually have to do this. And unfortunately, we don't want to have to do that, but if we do, we want to make sure that we do it to the best of our ability so our residents have a smooth process to work with.
During an evacuation, the EOC has to be prepared for anything. Two specialized areas help the EOC meet all the needs of evacuees.
We have two other areas in the parish that are very specialized and focused on certain aspects of the evacuation. And those two are our emergency medical services for special needs and also our animal control department. Both of those departments have special areas to deal with residents who either have special medical conditions or have pets that they need to take care of during the evacuation. So we've set up separate areas for those folks so that we can treat those areas in a special way, get all the registration done, and make sure that everyone get their needs taken care of.
My name is Ken Russo. I'm Director of Emergency Medical Services for St. Charles Parish Hospital. Today we were having a drill for evacuees, and a very integral part of that is special needs. We have decided to set up both an ambulance here, as you can see in the background, and a supervisor will be here. And we'll also have what we call a triage tent. Triage means to sort. We'll take, for instance, we just had a lady with a dog bite. So we took care of her immediate need, dressed the wound, looked to see if it needed sutures or a tetanus shot. Then we look at her secondary needs, things like any conditions that might be aggravated by this event. So a lot of times people have special needs that are not real evident to us, but as you sit down at the triage booth and talk to them, you find out they in fact have a very serious special need. So we like to look at the total patient. The patient comes first, and sometimes it takes a few minutes to accurately diagnose what exactly is their special needs. But we are prepared. We have all the assets at our disposal, so we feel very confident that this procedure, this drill, will hone those skills, and we'll be ready for any type of event in St. Charles Parish.
Those residents that have special needs really are best serviced with either their family members, friends, other relatives, helping them during the evacuation process. But for those folks who just absolutely have no other way of evacuating and do have special needs, they can pre-register with the parish by calling the EOC at 783-5050. And then when they get on the scene here, we use a special process to make sure that we account for all of their medical needs, and then we bring them to a special shelter which is separate from where everyone else shelters in northern Louisiana.
Hurricane season is upon us. If you plan to use the parish evacuation system, you should register with the parish by calling 783-5050. This will ensure EOC has an accurate estimate and proper count of all participants. Your local Red Cross will also be ready when the time comes, not just for hurricanes, but for any emergency. And one local company is training their employees to lend a helping hand.
Hello, my name is Jay Dewey. I'm a branch manager for Grainger Industrial Supply in New Orleans. And Grainger is a maintenance, repair, and operating supply company. And we are here today celebrating the launch of Ready When the Time Comes in our local community. What this program is designed to do is train corporate employees in advance to respond to a disaster in partnership with the Red Cross. So when something happens, when we need those people to get out there, those volunteers to respond, we can do it effectively, efficiently, and quickly so that there's no hesitation.
Bring something for the kids to play with.
Here at a local school gym, new and veteran Red Cross volunteers launched their nationwide campaign with a simulated shelter exercise that included 4 components.
So what we're doing is we're trying to get them a little bit of experience in how to actually set up a shelter in the event that we got to do it for the real deal. Okay. So we're setting up a registration area for them, where we register people. We're going to have people come through and actually register, and then we'll set up some cots. We'll show them how we set up our cots, how we set up our dormitory area, and then we'll move over to the feeding area where we actually will. There's a group of people that will work with the feeding side of the house, so how we feed in the shelter, what we feed them, how we set it up. We'll go through the motions in that. And then also, we'll take another step further out where we actually show people how to identify the shelter, like putting posters up on the inside, and then for the media and the public to see where we are on the outside. So they'll go through those motions. We'll also visit with our health services partners, which is part of the medical services from the parish here, that come out for a real event to help us with our medical needs in the shelter. So what we're trying to do is give an opportunity for the new volunteers that have come in through Ready When the Time Comes to get them a sense of how they actually set something up, how we interact. I also have a group who's going to come through the register and they'll kind of role play. Don't know what they're going to role play. They may come in with injuries. They may come in mentally stressed. So our people are ready to handle anything that may come from the door.
From registering evacuees to feeding centers, these veteran volunteers shared their past experience, while new volunteers gained on-the-job training.
You see somebody that looks like they need help, go help. See somebody that looks like they're having a crisis, try to comfort them, get the shelter manager involved.
Doing this for 10 years, and it's been exhilarating. A lot of people think when you work with the Red Cross and you're working for the Red Cross and you're doing things for the Red Cross that you should be getting paid. Believe it or not, your blessings come. Your blessings come tremendously by volunteering.
This hurricane season or during any emergency, you can be sure the Red Cross and your parish EOC stand ready when the time comes to provide residents with sufficient needs to weather any event in St. Charles Parish. To learn more about what you can do and what the parish is doing now to be prepared, log on to stcharlesparish-la.gov. Click on Residents and follow the tabs to Hurricane Preparedness. Whether you stay or leave, here you'll find a complete video preparation guide, a printed version you can download anytime, and much more information and links about all the events around the parish.